Welcome back to Let's Play Arcade. We're going to do something a little bit different in this video. As you can see, we are, for once, not in an arcade. We are actually in our home arcade room in our basement. So, as you can see behind me, you'll see our multicade and our Jubeat machine. And we thought it would be fun to have a claw machine for down here, especially to store some of our Fun Zone wins and some of the smaller prizes that we bring home making all of these videos. So, and it just so happens a little known company called Arcade 1-Up sells a claw machine. Smaller and a lot more affordable than a lot of the ones that you can see on like Facebook Marketplace secondhand. So yeah, we decided to bite the bullet on it, and so we're gonna do a two-part video. First one, we're gonna show you how to unbox it and step by step on how to build it. Hopefully that goes well. And then we are going to do a little review. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, so let's jump in. Okay, so this is the box of the Arcade 1-Up claw machine. It's a little bit heavy, but they recommend having multiple people to carry this. Of course, because it was just me. Brought this downstairs by myself, but you know, if you're strong, you can definitely move it, and it has some handles. So let's get it open. And then to get it open, you want to put it on its side. You'll see that it has tape over here, seals, and you could just use a razor. And then on this side, on the opposite side, right here, just slash the tape, and then it should come right open. I'm going to be starting and stopping this a lot just because it's hard to film while assembling, so thanks for bearing with me. Also worth noting that there is some glue here, so you do need to pull it pretty hard to get it up. Once you open it, this is what you'll see. All of the literature, it looks like, and some ads. Put that over here. Bend this box back. Yeah, it looks like we have all the little parts here. Throw that there. Lots of mini boxes, it looks like. Yeah, I think these are all the side panels and everything. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and pull these out. Okay, and this is what it looks like with everything taken out of the box. You can then go ahead and start taking all the pieces out of the box. And yeah, I'm gonna pause and take a look at the instructions, because that would probably help. And in case you guys wanted to know what was inside the literature, so here's an ad for Arcade 1-Up. Stools, we have those covered. This is the difficulty and security code setting manual, the instructions, the most important part, the owner's manual, and then you also get one in a few different languages, and then the warranty, and also the warranty in other languages. So let's open the rest. And then digging into the parts sleeve, you will find all of the parts and screws and all that goodness, along with the power supply and what I assume is the ball for the joystick. really nice because everything is nicely labeled. So unlike a few other pieces of furniture, you don't need to guess based on the size of the piece. So that is nice. Within this smaller box here, the big thin one, you will find all of the marquees and some other pieces. We'll dig into that all shortly. And then this big long box, I believe, is the actual claw itself. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So we'll leave that in there for now because we don't need that for the first few steps. You will also see a pretty light box. So this is actually where the capsules that come with the claw machine are. So it comes with a number of capsules. I don't remember off the top of my head how many, but you can either put these inside or you can store your own prizes in there. So we'll put those aside for now because we won't need those right away. But yeah, nice that they included those. So then you'll have the two bundles of the side panels. Just use a razor, carefully take the ties off, and these will come apart pretty easily. Okay, and then we got everything open and laid out. So these are all from the small marquee piece. A lot of brown pieces of wood that looks like the ones that your dad probably saved when you were a kid in the garage and never thought he would use. Don't throw those away. You'll need those. Yeah, plenty of panels. The back panel, side panel, the marquee. These are the plexiglass windows, the prize chute area, and then a side panel. For the next step, you will then need the A pegs, C screws, and F, whatever those are. You'll need N1, N2, L, and I. So you want to lay them out like that. Also worth noting that you will need a Phillips screwdriver and a hammer. They specifically say not to use a drill, so just to keep that in mind. So for N1, you'll take that plastic piece, screw it on there, and then you'll want to take one of those pegs and put it in there. For N2, pretty easy. You just take the two pegs and then one peg up here. You may not need a hammer. They go in pretty easily, but yeah, you might want to hammer them in just so they are in there tight. L is pretty easy as well. Just put that plastic piece on there and then two pegs on either side in the middle holes. For part I, pretty easy. Just two pegs on either side. Then for the next step, you'll need these B screws, the longer ones, and you'll need N1 and N2. You'll see that you have one of those pegs that will go into this hole here, and then on the outside here, you will want to screw in those long screws. Just turn the piece this way, and they should go right in with a screwdriver. You'll then want to take your L piece, line it up like this with the plastic piece down. The pegs will go right in here, and then in these two holes, you will put more of those long B screws. Then you'll want to grab your eyepiece again, put it with the hole facing that way, And what you need to look for are these small holes. These will line up with the plastic pieces on the piece that you just put together. So line these up, and then these will be tightened with those small screws that you were using before. In the next step, you want to locate the P, K, and G pieces, and these will all need pegs on the side. So P here needs them in the middle, and then K and G need them two on both sides. You'll want to take your D2 piece, which is one of the side panels here. You want to make sure that it is turned this way with these holes lining up with these pegs, and be sure to turn what you just built this way. Line up the pegs, and then you'll want to put screws in each of these holes. And just for reference, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws on this side. Then the next step, you want to grab the P, K, and G boards that you put the pegs in previously. You want to turn this that way, and then G will line up with this ridge facing out. P is going to go on top here. You are going to line up the peg with the top hole, and then a screw is actually going to go in on the other side. And then for K, you're going to take this and same thing, line the pegs up here, and then screw the long screws go in on the other side. When those pieces are in, they will look like this. Then you will want to take your E2 piece, which is this side panel here. This will line up with this piece, and you'll want to line up all the pegs, and then in these big holes you're going to put the long screws yet again. When you have that piece on, this is what it will look like. It's really starting to come together. Working up a sweat yet? I know I am. Just wanted to remind you, Let's Play Arcade is fully self-funded. We really just do this on the side, and you know, it's a fun passion project for us, so it would really help us out if you could like, subscribe, leave a comment below, and yeah, check out one of our playlists. We're really trying to get monetized, and part of that is just watching as many of our videos as you can all the way through. So really appreciate everyone who checks us out. Let's get back to it. Now it's time to put on our control panel. So you want part C, which is the control panel, and then C1, which is this piece here. You'll want to turn it this way, and this back piece here will screw on here, and then the control panel will then go here, and you'll screw in through the back there. Also worth noting, on the back of the control panel, these require pegs, and then here you will need to pull these cables through here. You can use the screws to hold this piece in place, and then fasten this to here. Once the control panel is fastened to the back of this, you then want to take this red cable, and that snaps in right here. Next, you'll want to take pieces B2 and B3. B2 will have this cable on it. You want to take the zip tie off of that. This gets one of these plastic pieces that goes in here with the small screws. And then you're going to want to put the pegs into these holes here, and then these holes, and then in the middle hole on either side on this piece. And then this piece also gets pegs on the top hole on either side. And then here's what those pieces look like completed. We have the plastic piece on top here, and then the pegs on both sides. Then after this piece is assembled, you're going to want to turn this around, and then this will screw in here, and then you'll take the small screws and screw this piece together. And then here is what that finished piece looks like, and that's what the cross section looks like. Then you want to locate pieces F and M. M is the piece that has this blue design on it, and then F is the back panel that has this box here. So what you want to do is you are going to add 2 pegs to this side, 2 pegs to this side on the outside holes. And the pegs are on the inside holes on this piece. And then for F, it's also going to be 2 pegs on this hole here, as well as the inside hole here. Also in the same spots on this side. And then you also are going to want to put 2 at the top on these 2 inside holes. And just for reference, this is what it looks like with the pegs on the top and on the side. Next, you're going to want to grab part D1, which is this side panel here. You're going to take part F, turn this over. This is actually going to be the back inside of the arcade. And you want to take this panel. This is going to line up and line up the pegs here. And then these are all going to screw in using the long screws. And pretty simple. So it just screws in here, here, and here. Next, you'll want to grab your G screws as well as A1, which are these bars right here. And they do have zip ties around them, so use a razor to take that off and then take them out of the package. Then you want to put the D1 piece with the other back piece together, lay it like this, and you want to look for these holes. This is where you are going to screw both of these in using the smaller G screws. These go in pretty easy on either side, and it should look like that when it's all done. Then you're going to want to grab this piece that you just assembled, turn that piece that you screwed these bars into like this, and this is going to be where we put in our marquee holder. So, and then this will screw in on this side with the long B screws, 3 of them. And then here is what that should look like after it is in place, with the screws going into these 3 holes. Then you can turn it back this way, and what we're going to do is we're going to screw these into the marquee with the small G screws. Then after screwing those in, these bars and the marquee should be nice and sturdy. You're going to want to grab this bag here that has your Arcade 1-Up claw machine marquee. It has B4 and B1. You're going to open that up. You're going to want to take the protective film off of both of these sides. This is the front cover and then the art. So there are going to be 2 pieces of plexiglass and then your marquee art. There is a clear film on this. That's kind of hard to see at first, so make sure you take that off and you'll assemble your marquee as such here and then put that top piece on. And then here's what it looks like all together. It does fit pretty snugly, so yeah, take some force to get that on there. You're then going to want to grab your M piece as well as this piece here, which is M1. And you're also going to need this K bag of screws. So after you take off the plastic bag, it also has a film, so you want to take that off. You're then going to want to take the L-shaped piece and line this up here. You'll see that there are little screws already in here, and that is where those K screws are going to go. This is what that's going to look like afterwards, and what do you know? That is our pry chute. You're then going to want to turn this that way. You're going to want to remove this film from this side, and then this piece is going to snugly go in here. And that is going to be the bottom of the claw machine on the inside. So it's really starting to come together. You're then going to want to grab your J piece, which is going to be our front plexiglass window. You're going to want to take the plastic off of this and then the protective film. You're then going to want to turn it where this little notch is face down, and these little holes are going to line up with the holes in the bottom here. This is going to slide right into the notches that are in the top piece, and then you are going to screw in these 2 little screws with the smaller C screws. Then you're going to want to take the E1 piece, which is the one with this side panel here. You're going to want to take the protective film off of this, and then this is going to go right on top of this other piece. This is what it is going to look like. As you can see here, the wood pegs are going to line up, and this is going to sit right on top, and then each of these holes here you are going to screw in. And for reference, the screws that will go in, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now that this is all put together, you're going to want to lay this upright because we're going to be putting our claw on. And you can also, at this point, take off the side plastic. Doesn't really matter. Totally up to you. As you could probably guess, this is your claw. You're going to want to take the zip ties and the plastic off and take that out. And this is going to sit in here like this. Once this is sitting on here, there are a few things that you need to do to get this ready. So you'll see a piece of tape here that is holding in this silver cord. Trying not to drop this thing. This silver cord needs to go through this hole right here. So showing this for reference, but this zip tie, you'll need to pull it through that zip tie and it'll come through here. And then this connector here is what you need to put through that hole. There are also these foam stoppers that you can take out. And actually, in order to take out those stoppers, you need to cut the zip tie that was around the side here. So you can go ahead and cut that one. And actually, I did have this in here backwards. So in order to get this through the hole, it does need to be the opposite direction from the way I had it. So sorry for that. We're doing this in real time here. You can then also cut this zip tie as well. And then now you'll want to cut the zip ties that are holding the claw together, and just be careful as it falls, and you can take this plastic bag off. You will also see screws right here on either side of the claw. You'll want to tighten those in. And then here is what that will look like once the claw has descended and these have been tightened. You're then going to want to grab your end piece, which is this plastic piece right here, and your H, which is going to be our top of the cabinet. You'll notice that the wire from our marquee will be in the way when you put this on top. So this will come up through this hole here, poke up this way, and then this will set right on top. And then you are going to want to screw this in on both sides like that. Also not necessarily required, but if you want, it looks nice, you can take that plastic piece and make that go through there. Then those two plastic pieces are really just for cable management. You can put those however you want. I put them like this, but worth noting that these will then fit back here. And you'll notice that there is a 1 and a 2, which correspond to both of these. So these are both your marquee and your backlight. Worth noting that when you are moving the claw, the light will actually flash inside of the claw machine. So if you want to change it where the marquee actually flashes when you're moving it, you can actually swap the 1 and 2, which is what I've done here. Now we're going to take the control panel piece and we're going to put the other part with the actual claw on top. It says to lay this down. You can also just put the pegs in here and then lay it on top. You may need another person to accomplish this, but that is the next step. And here is what that looks like all together. It's really starting to take shape, so just a few more steps. you're going to want to take the remainder of the screws on both of these sides and screw those in to fasten the top to the bottom. You'll then want to look inside the cabinet for these holes here. You'll need this plate, and then this will be fastened right here with some of these C screws. This will fasten the top to the bottom even more. You'll then want to come over to the opposite side and make sure that any holes that you haven't screwed in, you go ahead and screw those in. Then you want to grab your back panel here. That's piece F1. Probably want to take the piece that had the ugly sticker and put that inside. Then you want to take this cable here. This is going to go through here. And then after you do that, this is going to slide into that groove, and you're going to put that into the back of the cabinet. Then you want to make sure that you get this under this lip here, pull this through like that, and then you're going to grab your bag of E screws. Those are going to go here, here, and here, and that's going to fasten the back piece to the back. Here's where we're going to start putting everything together. So you're going to want this plastic M piece for cable management, and then also get your power adapter. You're going to plug these together and then get ready to plug everything else in. You're going to want to stick this about here because this is going to hold this silver cable, which is then going to plug into here. So then that's what that looks like all plugged in. And then if you didn't already plug these in, make sure to plug in the 1 and 2 right here. You're also going to take the cord that is coming out of the bottom. These are A and B, and then you're going to want to plug these in to the corresponding holes here. And then this last one is where you're going to plug in your AC adapter. You'll then want to grab bag I that's filled with all these little caps, and these are going to fill in all of the little screws on either side. So make sure that you go back and you fill in all of those to make it look nice. And then here is what that looks like with the caps in. Just make sure to match the black and the white corresponding to what part of the cabinet you're putting them in. We're almost done. So then you're going to want to take your marquee. This is going to slide into the lip right here. And you do have to get it in pretty carefully, but it fits in pretty snugly after that slides right in. You'll then want to assemble your joystick. So you'll take this plastic piece that will slide right on there, and then this ball will then just screw right on. And also, if you didn't put screw caps on the control panel, make sure to do so now. And then you are all done. You can go ahead and put it in place. Keep in mind you will want a little bit of room on one side so you can put in prizes. Might need to adjust mine a bit. Go ahead and plug it in, and we're all done. Well, that was quite an adventure. So we went ahead and we built the arcade 1-up claw machine. Honestly, it's not that hard to assemble. I've definitely assembled some IKEA furniture that was way tougher. So, you know, doesn't really take a lot of expertise, and it's pretty affordable. So in the next video, we will give our review of the arcade 1-up claw machine, and we'll let y'all know what we think of it. So Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully this video was informative. And as always, if you like what we do here, if you like claw machines or arcade games, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We're really trying to grow the channel a lot and want to do a lot more different types of videos. So any support would really be appreciated. And as always, thanks for watching.